Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into something that is been evolving pretty fast, and that is AI modeling. Now, if you follow the channel, you know that I haven't really delved into AI yet. So I was really excited when Tripo actually reached out to sponsor a video because it allowed me to kind of go over two things. One, check out where AI modeling is, and then two, see if it could solve one of the main issues that I personally have with Unreal Engine, which is getting unique static meshes without really needing to know Blender, Maya, or Substance Painter. So if you're new to Unreal Engine, the biggest hurdle is kind of the fact that you need to know other programs to create the static meshes that you want to use within your scene, which is where AI modeling, and in this specific case, Tripo, comes in. It's not just a basic generator, it handles the whole pipeline. So from the initial prompt to the 3D mesh, including segmentation, retopology, and even rigging. For me, the real win here is being able to create custom static meshes on the fly, whether it's a specific statue or cultural building. You can basically manifest the exact asset you need for your render without leaving Tripo. So let's jump into it and check it out. Okay, and here is Tripo's main page. From here, I'm actually gonna go up to products and go over to Tripo Studio. Now, once you enter Tripo Studio, it's gonna be very similar to a lot of AI sites where it kind of gives you a full gallery of different things that the community have created. I always enjoy this because it lets you know kind of the limits as well as the possibilities of the actual software itself, which is always a lot of fun to kind of check out. But to get started, you can actually right away just describe a 3D model and go directly into generating, or you can jump into their actual AI studio. So for there, I'm going to click on 3D workspace, and it's going to bring me to this page right here. Now, they offer a bunch of different ways to actually generate a model. So up here, you have image to model. Then you have multi-view images to 3D. If you click on that, it'll show you front, left, right, back. So you can get the best quality model you can get. From there, there's also batch images to 3D, and then lastly, text to 3D. So the text to 3D just allows you to describe it, and then it'll create for you. This tends to be a little finicky, so I prefer, out of all of these, the image to model. Like a lot of other AI sites, they always go by tokens. So some of these require more tokens than others. In this particular case, I think the image to model works great. So this is definitely what I prefer. Now, when it comes to actually getting the image, I personally use Gemini. I have a Google phone, comes free for a year, but you can use Gemini and ChatGPT without really needing to pay any money and get some really good results from it. The one thing I do suggest, and Tripo themselves actually suggest this as well, is you want to make sure that whatever model you're trying to create into a 3D, whatever image you're trying to create into a 3D model is on a blank background or on as clean a background as possible. So for example, if you're trying to do, say, a castle, you want to make sure there aren't trees in the middle or in front of the castle on the image. You want it to be as clean as possible. So in my case, I'm actually going to go over here to my folder and bring up one of my images, which is going to be this skeleton dragon head right here. Now, as you can see, it is on a pure white background and is just the dragon head. From there, you can pretty much do everything you need to do right here in this generate model section. So if you go over here to texture settings, I can bring this down, and then topology settings, I can bring that down. And these are all the settings I can kind of play with. For ultra mode, you're going to get the absolute best for results. But the con there is it just takes more tokens. Everything for this website is token based. For example, I have 2,000 tokens, and then it's going to cost 50 tokens to generate this model. So Ultra is going to give you the absolute best results. From there, you can generate this into parts automatically. You can also bring it over to segmentation, which helps as well. The generate to the parts is mainly focused on 3D printing, so you can kind of have different parts to put together. And then from there, privacy, public, anyone can see the fact that you created this model. Texture, it will automatically texture your model based on the actual image of the model. So if I had this to be like a red skeleton, the texture would be red. 4K textures just means high quality textures, which I'm going to go for. And then PBR textures is going to increase the quality even more by allowing metallic normals and things like that to also be included into the texture pack. So I'm going to turn that on. And then for the smart low poly, I personally feel like all the assets I've currently made in Tripo and brought into Unreal Engine have worked completely fine without turning this on. So I won't be turning this on. And then topology offers you two options, quad and triangle. Unreal Engine Nanite is based off of triangles, so it's always best to use triangle for Unreal Engine. So I'm going to click that. And then when it's poly count, I'm just going to leave that on auto because every single time I've done this again, it's come out just fine using auto. And then with that, it is really just a one-click generate model, and it'll get moving for you. And just like that, you now have a 3D model that you can use within your scene. It is incredibly high quality. It's actually very well made. And I've been playing around with it within Unreal Engine, and it doesn't seem to bog down your scene in any manner. And it works really easy, even when it comes to importing. The next tab here, if you kind of want to tailor this a little more, is the overview tab. The overview tab is really just giving you a breakdown of everything you've added to your 3D asset or mesh. So up here, it'll tell you if it's textured, if you segmented it, if it's unrigged or rigged, or how it was generated. And then it gives you a general prompt, which you can use in the kind of other sections. And then down here, it'll let you know the privacy of it, PBR textures, HD, Ultra. So it's really just giving you a rundown of everything that you kind of use to create this model. Now, to jump into the segmentation piece, I'm actually going to generate a different model so you can kind of see how that works. So I'm actually going to go back over here to generate model. I'm going to get rid of this one and then drag in this one right here, which is, and generate this model. Okay, so now that we have this new static mesh generated, the next thing you do is go to the segmentation tab and you can start segmenting it right here. Okay, and here we have our fully segmented static mesh. Now you can make some pretty quick changes to this. It really doesn't apply too much to what I'm using Tripo for, so I'm just going to breeze over this pretty quickly. But two ways is one, you can click on different meshes and merge them. For example, the tail. I can click on different pieces of the tail that are coming out separate, like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I can merge them into one and save it. And that is one way of editing it. And then another way of handling anything is actually you can paint on the mesh to kind of connect it to something else as well. So for that, you can actually just click on this paintbrush and then, you can exit out, click on the mesh, click on the paintbrush. You can actually paint different pieces onto that mesh and then save that way as well. So both routes are really easy to kind of connect or deconnect any pieces and segment appropriately for when you are 3D printing any of the 3D assets that you are creating here. So now heading over to Retopology, this is really helpful when it comes to kind of simplifying the overall topology so it is lighter and easier to use in any of your kind of softwares. In my case, I really haven't needed to do this once. I think Tripo does such a good job when it's generating their initial model that there really isn't a need to go in here and retopologize. But if you wanted to, it is always here. And as I stated earlier, if you are doing this for Unreal Engine, triangle is definitely the way to go. And then you can pick the actual polygon count, whether you want to be really high or low. And you can also click on Smart Poly. And then all you need to do is go down here and click this button, and it'll completely retopologize your static mesh. Now for texture, I actually want to bring in a new model so I can show you how that works as well. So I'm actually going to go back to generate model, get rid of this one. And now I'm going to bring in this kind of totem model that I have right here and generate this one. Okay, so now that our model is generated, I'm going to jump directly over to the texture tab, and this is what you're going to see. So at the very bottom, you have the PBR generator. This is if you did not generate it in the initial step. From there, you actually have a texture upscaler, which will increase the overall detail of your texture. And then you have the magic brush, and then the 3D model texture generator. For the 3D model texture generator, if you say in Gemini or whatever AI kind of image generator you used, created different images. So for example, like a red totem, you could upload that here and it would change the overall texture based off of that new image. And then right here for the magic brush, this is kind of interesting because it lets you adjust different things based on generating a new image that you can kind of paint on. So I'm actually just going to keep it how it is here, but down in the creativity strength, you can adjust this to be 0, which means it will be as closely matched as possible, and then to 1, which will kind of adjust the creativity and will not be closely matched. So I'm just going to go for a 1 just so you can see how this works. If you want, you can type in different stuff into the prompt here to kind of get a different looking statue. So you can say, I don't know, painted red, painted green, bear instead of an eagle for the chest, things like that. And then the only other thing to make note of is you're going to want to set this up so the area that you want to adjust is what is facing camera. So for right now, this is the area I want to adjust. I will click Generate Preview over here, and it will now go through and generate the image for me that I can use. Okay, so now that our new image is created, I can actually click on this paintbrush right here and paint pieces of that new image on to my new static mesh to adjust the texture. So it's a really interesting way of getting different stuff. So for example, you could have said moss, you could have said color painted red, different stuff, and then there'd be different kind of colors added on. And then good thing is you can always adjust or erase as well, which is all pretty self-explanatory how to use these different pieces. Now in paint mode, it'll actually just let you paint onto it if you want to as well. So just like I mentioned earlier, if I wanted a red totem, I can go down here and kind of paint red onto it. Generally speaking, it's kind of good for touch-ups. I wouldn't suggest this when it comes to fully adjusting your kind of texture. And again, you can always click the undo button. Now, our last tab here is actually rigging, and rigging is pretty simple. So in this particular case, I just dragged something in from Tripo's homepage, which was this model right here. In most cases, before it is fully rigged, you'll see at the bottom right here, like on all the other tabs, generate rig. But once the rig is fully generated, you will have all these different options for how you want to animate your actual character with the rig. So in this particular case, with this character right here, you can do a quick little afraid rig, greetings, or walk, and so on to generate and animate your new 3D mesh, or in this case, 3D skeleton. So that is everything on Tripo's actual site. I am now going to go back, generate a new skeleton head, and then show you all how to actually bring that into Unreal Engine and show you all the different things that I created and have spread out throughout my scene. So for that, I'm going to go straight back to the Generate Model tab, go back here to grab my skeleton head, drag and drop it, and just click Generate. Okay, and just like that, our model is generated again. Now, once you're happy with your model, in this case I am, all you need to do is actually go down to the Export tab, clicks Export, it'll have the full file name, and then you can adjust the format. In our case, FBX works the best, so I'm going to switch it over to FBX, keep it on Blender, although we're shooting this over to Unreal Engine, and then click Export. Now, save this wherever you want to save it, and then head over into Unreal Engine. Okay, so here we are in Unreal Engine in the Electric Dreams kind of environment pack that they released, I think with Unreal Engine 5.4. And I have a little area set up right here with one of our meshes already added in. And now I want to add in the large skeleton mesh. So what you can do there is do Control Space to bring up the content browser. In my case, I already created a folder. If you don't know how to create a folder, just right click, add new folder. But in my case, I have Tripo meshes right here, and I have a dragon skull kind of folder already created. And then all you need to do is click import and then find the FBX file that you got from Tripo. So for that, I'm going to go over to library, images, assets, find our dinosaur skull 3D. Click on that. Oh, that's not it. Where is it? There you go. Dinosaur Skull FBX right here. And then all I have to do is click open. And now it will bring you over to this prompt right here. Luckily, this prompt, everything works. We're not dragging in a skeletal mesh or anything. This is just a static mesh. So everything is perfect. Just how it comes up, you can just go straight down and click import, and it'll import all the files for you. Perfect. And just like that, you have your base color, metallic, normal, roughness, and then a material instance that was automatically generated for you. And all you really need to do now is just grab the static mesh, drag and drop. It'll come in a little small. You can just adjust the size. And I'm going to bring you back just a tad, angle you down. And now we have a nice little dragon graveyard added into the scene. Now, I really like using the environment pack, Electric Dreams environment map or level, because it's a really good way of kind of getting you to see how high quality assets mix really well with a lot of these 3D assets. And just for fun, I brought in a bunch of other kind of 3D static meshes or 3D assets that I've created on Tripo throughout this entire scene. So I have this kind of Japanese gate right here, kind of blocking the route. I have this little house that I generated as well. Over here, I have a nice little totem that we showed earlier. And then I think back here, there we go. There's our Torii gate that I have right here. Looks quite picturesque to me. And then I think I even have a bridge right here, as well as a nice little castle building that I generated too. All right, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm honestly fascinated by AI in general, especially when it comes to 3D modeling, since it is evolving incredibly fast and will, without a doubt, affect the way we work in 3D and in the gaming industry. Tripo themselves were kind enough to provide both two things, a special offer and a discount code, all in the description below. You'll get an extra 500 credits to start creating. Plus, if you want to dive deeper, you have a discount code that will offer you 60% off the first month of your professional plan. So if you're interested, definitely head down in the description below and check it out. And as always, please leave a comment. Definitely curious about your thoughts and feelings about AI as a whole. And with that, see you guys on the next one.